Welcome back to Now You Know BC. Today we're talking about animals escaping captivity or being let go. Allison Babichuk and Meg Andrews from an organization called Rabitats. Welcome to the show. I see you brought some friends and I'm allergic to them. I'm sorry for this.
Thank you. Yes, we sure did.
What is Rabitats?
So we are a fully volunteer-run nonprofit focused on rescuing rabbits, essentially. So kind of what Rabitats does is colony rescue. So bunnies, such as these bunnies, do really well when they live in large groups. And a lot of the bunnies that you see out there, like Jericho Beach is a really good example. That would be a colony of bunnies. And our goal is to rescue them, spay and neuter, and then contain them so that they don't continue to cause problems out there.
Like all together, you'll get a whole bunch of them?
I mean, that's kind of the goal. Our capacities are very limited right now. We run pretty much solely on donations, and we're always looking for new places to host colonies. So unfortunately, there are still so many rabbits out there that have yet to be rescued, and we just don't have homes for them at the moment.
Right. If I'm out at Jericho Beach, what should I feed them?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, please don't feed the rabbits at Jericho Beach. It makes them fat. It's harder for them to run from predators. And also, if they're really well fed, they'll have much bigger litters, which we do not want. We don't want more bunnies.
No, we don't want more bunnies. How does this happen? Like that there's so many rabbits out at Jericho and at 909, all those places I listed, those are tons of rabbits.
Basically, we consider them to be domestic ferals. So like you said, they're not wild rabbits, they are domestic rabbits. Most of them are the offspring of dumped pets, and some of them are actually dumped pets. So for example, Sugar, little gray girl in there,
Yep.
She was found in a parking lot at Canadian Tire in Richmond, and someone just dumped her, and all of the feral rabbits around her started attacking her because they knew that she was a pet bunny. They weren't going to accept her. So when the person who rescued her actually went, she just ran right up to her, begged to be taken.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. So in 2008, Kelowna paid $54,000 to cull their entire population. What is your guys' stance on that?
Well, obviously our organization isn't pro-cull. Part of Kelowna's big success actually was larger restrictions on spaying and neutering rabbits. So any rabbit that is adopted or bought from a breeder must be spayed or neutered. And that has shown to really contain the rabbit population much more efficiently than a cull would.
Has the government ever considered banning the sale of them? I know in Burnaby they banned the sale of turtles. In Vancouver you can't buy a dog at a pet store, that sort of thing. Has the provincial government ever considered it?
No, and to be honest, it's not really, it is an issue, but it's not the biggest issue. Like the really big issue is breeders and backyard breeders and all of these bunnies being sold irresponsibly. They're not spayed or neutered, and then the juvenile phase hits. So a lot of these bunnies, they go home when they're babies, they're super cute, but they grow, and when they become teenagers, the hormones kick in, it's time to get spayed and neutered. That's kind of when people are like, okay, I can't handle this anymore, and then all the rescues are full for intake, closed for intake, so they kind of have no choice but to dump them, and because they're not fixed, it just keeps creating more and more rabbits.
You're saying people don't have a choice but to dump their animals?
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, housing crisis.
Okay.
Finding pet-friendly housing is really difficult.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have to people will, sneak bunnies in because they're quite quiet, but it's not a sustainable way. So that's a big issue, is the housing crisis.
Yeah, misinformation's another big part of the crisis.
Okay.
They're seen as wildlife. It's why bunnies are one of the most dumped pet, because there are some wild rabbits. A lot fewer rabbits are actually wild than you would assume. The only wild breed in BC, and they're not native to BC.
Yeah, they're all invasive.
Yeah, they're all invasive, are cottontails. So they're specifically the brown, they look a little different.
Almost like her coloring.
Almost like her, but...
What is her deal? She's a big rabbit.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
this one too.
So Big Girl is a Flemish giant rabbit. She's actually an escaped meat rabbit. She was found in pretty horrific conditions, and she was one of the lucky ones. She escaped being eaten. Yeah.
If people wanted to adopt a rabbit, what makes a good rabbit owner?
Being able to provide them with enough space and enough enrichment and keeping them on a proper diet. Bunnies have very sensitive digestive systems, so they always need to have access to fresh hay. That's the most important part. They also cannot be kept in cages. That's like a common misconception. People think of like small animal, you keep them in a cage.
I thought that's totally what you were thinking.
But they're more like a cat or a dog, and they need room to run around,
Do they poop?
jump. So they're actually litter box trained. So they like to actually eat their hay and poop at the same time, so they know where to do their business in the litter box.
Eating and pooping at the same time.
Yeah, very efficient.
I like them a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody wanted to adopt one. Is there somewhere where they could meet the rabbits or like, see them?
Yeah, so we're actually partnered with the Bunny Cafe in East Vancouver. And that is a great source just to go and meet some rabbits. A lot of people have never really interacted with rabbits before on like a pet basis. So
They could know if they're allergic to them like I am.
They would
Yeah.
know pretty
Maybe
quick.
you didn't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks so much for coming in, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to go to a break. When we come back, Nina is going to be talking to people in the streets.